Happy Saturday morning, all. Thank you for joining me today for our 7th episode of Saturday Morning Coffee. I'm Nolan, our lead writer and founder of Dime Novel Adventures. Today we'll be reviewing the December 2025 adventure, A Jolly Banquet. If you're ready, I've got my coffee, so let's dive in. A Jolly Banquet, December 2025. Celebrate and give thanks in this adventure for your favorite role-playing game. A Jolly Banquet, an any-level adventure. In this adventure, the party will prepare a banquet on behest of Jolly Saint Nick. Written by Flame Reptile. Edited by The One True AZ. Art by Flame Reptile. Cartographer, The Silent Cartographer. Disclaimer. Holly, polish those sleigh bells. I want to hear them jingling, ring-ting-tingling too. Buddy, saddle up Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. Tinsel, blow Rudolph's nose, we need it bright and shiny. Peppermint, awaken Frosty the Snow Golem, and Jolly, have the cookie golems fire up the living hearth. Miss Claus is baking tonight. Special thanks to Dawn of Dune, The One True AZ, Flame Reptile, Portal Ripper, The Silent Cartographer, Garlic Man, The Angry Ginger, and The Webmaster. Thank you to the Lord, our God, for blessing us with the inspiration to keep going. Call to me and I will answer you, and I will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. Jeremiah 33:3. On the cover, a chilly scene. Peace and quiet at Farmer Tyndall's house. A jolly introduction. 'Tis the season to be jolly, and after a turbulent year, Saint Nick is ready to settle down and celebrate for once. Concluding a successful Christmas season, having delivered countless presents to the denizens of the multiverse, Nick has planned a banquet to celebrate. For this banquet, Saint Nick, partnered with his wife, Mrs. Claus, has invited all of his closest friends, colleagues, and acquaintances, including Jack Frostling, Frosty the Snow Golem, and all of the spirits of Elendor's holidays. Nick has also invited the party, for their good deeds this year, of course. Read or paraphrase the following, for how the party receives their invitations. Describe the party's current activities. When suddenly, time appears to freeze before you and snow begins to fall from above. You find yourselves unable to move, stopped in place physically, but mentally aware. 12 tiny elves appear before you, bumbling amongst themselves in their green furs and curled shoes. One of the elves steps forward from the group, staring intently at you while pulling out a list. She reads off each of your names before pronouncing, "All of you have been invited to attend St. Nicholas's end-of-year banquet as thanks for your good deeds this year." Several other elves step forward, one toward each of you, producing a small peppermint-scented envelope. They stuff them away in your pockets, hands, and even within your scabbards. Then, just as suddenly as they appeared, the elves vanish. The party's activities may continue as normal. Note: this interaction is best implemented while the party is in the middle of some sort of activity, whether it be training, combat, or even while dining. All activities, including player actions, cease while the elves are in play and resume once they have dispersed. A jolly letter. The party will be given a chance to read the letters brought to them by the mysterious elves. Read or paraphrase the following letter. Dear player name, you have hereby been invited to the most jolly banquet across Elendor, hosted by His Jolliness St. Nicholas. Upon the 26th of deep snow, at 5 p.m., the banquet will take place. St. Nicholas himself has requested your presence several hours early at midday. Should you accept St. Nicholas's invitation, you shall be automatically whisked away to Santa's workshop by a wisp of snow upon that date and at that time. Should you refuse St. Nicholas's invitation, you shall be automatically whisked away to Santa's workshop by a wisp of snow upon that day and at that time, and then be added to the naughty list. Best regards, St. Nicholas. A jolly wait. If the current date and time within your game is not the 26th of Deep Snow of the Third Age of Elendor, then the party will need to wait until the promised day comes. A jolly arrival. After the party has waited for the appropriate amount of time to pass for the calendar to come to the 26th of Deep Snow, they will be whisked away by wisps of snow and taken to Santa's workshop, where they will meet Santa and be given a few requests while he finishes up with preparing for the banquet. Read or paraphrase the following. The day has come when the clock strikes midday on the 26th of Deep Snow. A cold gust overcomes you as you are surrounded by snow and taken to Santa's workshop. In mere moments, you find yourselves standing in the snow before a colossal timber workshop. A host of tiny elves stand around a towering figure in a red suit. Black boots, red hat, bulging gut, rosy cheeks, and two beautiful scimitars at his side. Santa Claus stands before you, and it appears that he was left an ample supply of milk and cookies this year. Ho, ho, ho! He bellows as his expression twists into a joyous smile. It seems that you have made the journey to my home just fine. Welcome, friends. It is good to see you again. But it has been some time. Please, come inside. Have some hot chocolate. We must speak, and I must return to preparations for tonight's banquet. Santa turns and bounds towards the workshop behind him. The elves that stood around him surround you, tugging at your hands and pant legs, leading you in pursuit of Santa. As you approach the workshop, you see several of Santa's guests arriving. Frosty the Snow Golem playing in the snow around him, Jack Frostling jumping across the rooftops, leaving icicles in tow, and hundreds of workshop elves. A jolly welcome. The party will be led into Santa's workshop, where they will be given a mug of hot chocolate and a plate of cookies. Small groups of workshop elves will begin to fit each member of the party with some cold weather gear as they sit and eat. Read or paraphrase the following. You are led inside a warm room by the elves, where Santa takes a seat. Small tables are brought before you, each adorned with a mug of hot chocolate and a small plate of cookies. Santa, with a mouthful of cookies, says, "Thank you for coming, my friends. There's still a bit of work left before the banquet can begin. Would you be so nice as to take care of it for me while I finish my final preparations? You will! Oh, thank you!" While you eat and drink, and Santa speaks, the elves take your measurements and begin piecing together warm red suits for each of you. A jolly request. As the party settles in and the elves take their measurements, Saint Nick will tell them of his requests. Read or paraphrase the following. Without even giving you a chance to respond, Santa continues, "I only need you to take care of 3 small tasks for me, none of which should be too dangerous. Now listen carefully over your crunching and munching. First, I need you to travel a bit north of the workshop, to the Sprucent Forest, where I need you to gather a few bundles of green spruce wood, for our fire tonight, of course. 1 each from each of you. The woodsman there should be able to provide you some aid. Next, I need you to travel southwest of here, to the tinsel mines. We're running short and need more for decorations before the festivities can begin. The tinsel golem guards the mine, but you should be able to overcome its capriciousness. 1 skein each should be enough. Finally, one of my elves tells me that the reindeer, all except for Rudolph, have escaped from their pens. I hear they're running amok on Farmer Tyndall's candy cane meadow. Due east of here. Go and gather them up for their supper tonight." After Santa has finished his requests, each party member will be given a warm winter suit. Santa will rise from his seat, quaff his hot chocolate, and wave goodbye as he leaves to finish preparations. Before the party can speak, as he is walking out of the front door, Santa will bellow, "Thank you, friends! I knew I could count on you! Hurry along! The banquet will be finished in a mere 5 hours! Ho, ho, ho!" The party, now outfitted with nice winter suits, can either explore the workshop, which is not a feature of this adventure, or embark on their quests for Santa. Workshop. If the party chooses to explore Santa's workshop, They will find mostly empty, excuse me, they will find mostly empty workstations and conveyor belts, exhausted elves from a long year of toy making, and a cluttered mess of pieces, parts, and scraps left behind from the last-minute scramble of elves trying to meet their quotas. A workshop elf, by the name of Tittles, will approach the party to urge them to complete Santa's requested tasks. The Jolly North Pole. The North Pole, while a jolly land, is cold and inhospitable to those that are unaccustomed or underprepared. The cloud cover within the North Pole is overcast. The temperature is freezing cold. The winds the winds are light winds, and the precipitation is light snow. See Appendix C for more information on these conditions. The Jolly Woodsman. When the party chooses to venture into the Sprucent Forest, about 5 miles to the north of the workshop, read or paraphrase the following. After deciding to collect the bundles of green spruce wood for Santa, you depart from the workshop and travel north for about 5 miles before you come to a forest of tall, straight spruce trees. Along the edge of the forest, numerous trees appear to have been felled sometime in the recent past. Most of the trees within this forest stand nearly 100 feet tall, towering over the frosty lands of the North Pole. The underbrush below appears to be littered with dried-out, fallen branches. Less than 100 feet from the edge of the forest appears to be a tent with a campfire smoldering nearby. Sitting upon a stump, sharpening his axe, is a woodsman, dressed in brown and green. His red beard stands in sharp contrast to both his attire and the surrounding snow-covered lands. The Woodsman. The woodsman is a kind but gruff middle-aged human man. He wears thick brown pants and a dark green checkered shirt. His fair-skinned face is masked almost entirely by a thick red beard and a dense head of red hair. The woodsman takes excellent care of his felling axe, a massive two-handed axe carved from the claws of an ancient red dragon. He also maintains his small camp near the edge of the Sprucent Forest, and half a dozen mundane axes. Collecting wood. The woodsman, upon hearing the party's need for wood, will tell them of 3 options they have for collecting wood: foraging the ground for it, felling their own tree, or purchasing it from his stock. Foraging for spruce. The party can choose to forage the forest floor for an adequate amount of wood, requiring each party member take a full hour and a half to collect enough wood to make a bundle. Foraging is a safe option for the party, as long as they don't damage any of the trees. Felling a spruce. If the party decides to fell one of these towering spruces to collect its wood, they can choose to do so. However, the woodsman will warn the party that the trees within this forest are no normal spruce. Each is a towering sprucent that won't take kindly to being attacked. If the party is still intent on felling a spruce, the woodsman will gladly lend them his axes. However, he is unwilling to participate, as he is exhausted from a night of felling wood himself. He will then retreat into his tent to sleep. If the party begins cutting one of the trees, a loud groan can be heard emanating from its trunk as it attacks, using the statistics of a sprucent shown in Appendix A, Bestiary. Roll initiative. After a sprucent has been slain, it will fall to the ground and splinter into numerous pieces. Using an axe, each party member can collect enough wood to make a bundle within half an hour. Buying some bundles. If the party has completed Jolly Candy Cane Meadow and collected enchanted candy canes, they can trade them to the woodsman, each for a bundle of wood from his pile. A jolly hint. While the party contemplates how to best collect their bundles of wood, the woodsman will begin to murmur to himself. A successful DC 15 Wisdom Perception or Intelligence Insight check will reveal he's talking about the snow. Read or paraphrase the following. These young'uns, I don't think they appreciate the snow. How it falls silently, how it blankets the ground with its softness, how its shimmer illuminates the night sky. His murmuring is intended to be a hint to the Tinsel Golem's riddle during the Jolly Tinsel Mine. Once the party is finished collecting their bundles of wood, they can return to Santa's workshop. The workshop elves will relieve them of their burdensome bundles of wood and bring each of them a mug of hot chocolate to warm their bones. The Jolly Tinsel Mine. When the party chooses to venture to the tinsel mines, about a mile southwest of the workshop, read or paraphrase the following. After deciding to collect some skeins of tinsel from the tinsel mines for Santa, you depart from the workshop and travel southwest for about a mile before you come to a mine shaft in the side of a large hill. A large timber beam obstructs the entrance to the mine, connected to a shack to the mine's right side. However, it appears the beam can be easily circumvented. Leading into the mine is a minecart railing. It splits off into 6 different terminals to the left side of the entrance. Sitting upon each of the rail ends are snow-covered minecarts. Sitting within the open doorway of the shack appears to be a huge glimmering golem, and hung on the walls behind it are half a dozen pickaxes. As you approach the mine and the shack, the tinsel golem animates, asking in a gravelly voice, "Have you come to venture into the tinsel mines? Not without first answering my riddle. But should you give me the correct answer, I will lend you my picks and lift the bar for you to ride safely into the mines." The Tinsel Golem. The Tinsel Golem is a slow, capricious creature, caring only about protecting the tinsel mines, as once commanded by Santa Claus. Visitors of the tinsel mines must prove their value to the Tinsel Golem, although the method of doing so varies from day to day. On this occasion, the Tinsel Golem has crafted a riddle to test the worth of those that wish to venture into the mines. The Tinsel Golem is unwilling to lift the timber beam that obstructs the mine, nor lend the party picks, unless the party has successfully answered his riddle. The Tinsel Golem's riddle, read the following. I fall without tripping, and land without sound. Both soft and shimmering, I blanket the ground. I fade with the sunrise, when warmth can be found. What am I? Answer: snow. Fighting the Tinsel Golem. If the party cannot figure out the answer to the Tinsel Golem's riddle, or is too impatient to answer it, they can instead opt to attack and destroy the Tinsel Golem. The Tinsel Golem uses the Tinsel Golem statistics, shown in Appendix A, Bestiary. Once the party slays the Tinsel Golem, they will have access to the pickaxes behind them. However, they will quickly find they have no need to venture into the tinsel mines. The slain Tinsel Golem will begin to unravel into skeins of tinsel that the party can harvest using the nearby pickaxes. Over half an hour, each party member can harvest a skein of tinsel from the remains of the Tinsel Golem. Collecting tinsel. After the party has correctly answered the Tinsel Golem's riddle, it will hand each party member a pickaxe, leave the shack, and lift the immensely heavy timber beam. The Tinsel Golem will return to the shack, becoming dormant until the party exits the mine. Venturing into the mine. The party can now venture into the tinsel mines. It will take them half an hour to walk deep enough into the tinsel mine to find a large enough tinsel vein to mine. Alternatively, the party can utilize the minecarts. Each minecart is large enough to accommodate 2 medium-sized creatures and is simple enough to operate. A minecart can travel deep enough into the tinsel mines to find a tinsel vein large enough to mine in less than 5 minutes. Collecting tinsel. Once the party has found a vein of tinsel large enough to mine, they can set about mining their skeins. Mining tinsel is easy enough, as it is a soft metal that unravels once loosened by a pick. Mining enough tinsel to create an adequate skein will require a player character little more than a quarter of an hour. Return trip. The return trip from the tinsel mine is much the same as venturing into the mine. However, on foot, it will instead take the party 3/4 of an hour to return. The return trip via minecart only takes 5 minutes. A shining hint. Once the party is returned from the tinsel mines, the Tinsel Golem will bid them farewell. If the party mentions reindeer in any capacity, the tinsel golem will say, in the same tone and excitement that a person does when speaking about their favorite small animal, "Reindeer? I love reindeer, especially Master Claus reindeer. They always come when I offer them green spruce branches to nibble on. They're so soft." The tinsel golem trails off as it mutters about loving reindeer. This murmuring is intended to be a hint of how to attract Santa's reindeer, making them easier to capture. Once the party is finished collecting their skeins of tinsel, they can return to Santa's workshop. The workshop elves will relieve them of their burdensome skeins of tinsel and bring them each a plate of cookies to replenish their energy. A jolly candy cane meadow. When the party chooses to venture into Farmer Tyndall's candy cane meadow, about 2 miles east of the workshop, read or paraphrase the following. After deciding to round up Santa's reindeer from Farmer Tyndall's candy cane meadow, you depart from the workshop and travel due east for a little over a mile before you come to a large fenced-in field. Straight candy canes poke up from the frosty ground across this field, and happily prancing amongst the candy canes are 12 reindeer. Santa's reindeer. Chasing behind the swift and ornery reindeer is an elderly workshop elf, presumably Farmer Tyndall. He chases them back and forth for minutes at a time, shouting angrily and waving his hands before stopping to catch his breath. As he huffs and puffs, the reindeer cease their prancing and resume grazing Farmer Tyndall's fields. As the party approaches the fields, Farmer Tyndall will traverse the field to speak with them. Read or paraphrase the following. After he catches his breath, Farmer Tyndall notices your approach. He grabs his cane and hobbles over to the edge of the fence to greet you in a shrill, elderly voice. "Hello there, visitors. Have you come to answer my call to St. Nicholas?" "Yes. Well, it's about time," he shouts. "These blasted reindeer, as valuable as they are, have been ravaging my candy cane crop. And this close to harvest? Hurry along, hop this fence and capture those beasts." A not-so-jolly farmer. Farmer Tyndall is usually a well-spirited, elderly workshop elf. However, the sudden appearance of Santa's reindeer and their defiant consumption of his crop has caused him considerable stress. His answers to the party will be short, both of breath and in content. If asked how to capture the reindeer, Farmer Tyndall will irritably indicate that if he knew how, he would have done it himself already. Farmer Tyndall will, however, tell the party that if they can capture all of the reindeer within a minute, he will give them a gift for their urgency. Capturing the reindeer. The party will be tasked with chasing down the reindeer, capturing them, and tying them to any part of the fence. Once all the reindeer have been captured, Farmer Tyndall will thank the party and let them know he will call upon some of the younger workshop elves to take them to the stables. Farmer Tyndall will provide the party with enough rope to tie each of the reindeer up along the fence, telling them that once they're all tied up, he will call the other elves to get them and lead them back to the stable. Running the reindeer. For this part of the adventure, place the reindeer around the map, moving them individually in an initiative order to avoid the players. The reindeer will never attack the party and will always hold an action to dash away if they aren't already being pursued. If they are being pursued, they will utilize their full movement to run away. Although they can normally fly, Santa's reindeer are tired from a long night of gift delivery. Thus, they will not fly away. Once grappled by a character, the reindeer will not fight or try to break free, willingly allowing a character to lead it to be tied up on the fence. Some jolly candy canes. If the party manages to capture all of the reindeer within 1 minute of entering the field, Farmer Tyndall will gift each of them an enchanted candy cane, harvested from his fields. Candy cane thieves. If the party tries to harvest their own candy canes from Farmer Tyndall's fields, they will quickly find out that for the candy canes to become enchanted candy canes, they must be harvested in a very specific and secretive way. Farmer Tyndall is unwilling to disclose the method of harvesting enchanted candy canes to anybody but Santa and Mrs. Claus. He will also note that the woodsman has been after his secret for years. Once the party is finished wrangling all of the reindeer, they can return to Santa's workshop. Some workshop elves will relocate Santa's reindeer to Farmer Tyndall's fields from the stables. The Jolly Banquet. Once the party has successfully completed all of Santa's tasks and returned to Santa's workshop, the banquet will begin. Read or paraphrase the following. After completing your final task, you return to Santa's workshop. Cold and tired, you trudge into the warm space, now decorated and bustling with joy and cheer. Workshop elves surround you, peeling away your warm clothes to be cleaned and pressed for you, of course, and bringing you mugs of hot chocolate. As you take your seats, you see many other guests sitting at Santa's table. Jack Frosting, regaling chilling tales to Mrs. Claus. Frosty the Snow Golem, arm wrestling the Tinsel Golem, freshly repaired and polished. The woodsman and Farmer Tyndall, chatting about this year's harvest, and even Santa's reindeer, in their own stalls, of course. Not to forget the many workshop elves and cookie golems that help to run Santa's estate. Additional guests. If the party has completed any of the following adventures, there will be additional guests at the banquet. The Great Freedom Rescue, Echo Raptor, Black Turkey Day Part 3. The Jolly Guest, the Phoenix of Freedom. If the party has completed the adventure, the Great Freedom Rescue, the Phoenix of Freedom, accompanied by 12 shaman from its plains' 12 tribes, will attend the banquet. The Phoenix of Freedom, while massive in size, fits easily into Santa's colossal workshop. The Jolly Guest, the Pump King. If the party has completed the adventure, Echo Raptor, the Pump King, accompanied by 2 Spiceresses, 4 Pump Knights, and a dozen Pumpkinlings will attend the banquet. Oddly enough, the typically dreadful aura given off by the Pump King seems awfully festive while within Santa's workshop. The Jolly Guest, the Turkesque. If the party has completed the adventure Black Turkey Day Part 3, the Turkesque, accompanied by 24 goblins, will attend the banquet. Although colossal in size, the Turkesque fits comfortably within Santa's workshop. The Jolly Reward. After everybody has taken their seats, Santa will give the players their reward, and everybody may begin eating. Read or paraphrase the following. After everybody takes their seats, Santa rises, bellowing out, "Ho, ho, ho! It has been a fine year indeed, and I am so grateful that we all could gather here today. In celebration of this last year, I wanted to reward you all with this feast of heroes. Please eat, drink, and be merry on this evening." Santa's blessing is met with cheers as everybody begins to dig into the seemingly endless supply of food. After everybody has had some time to eat and a few drinks, Santa rises again, gesturing towards your party. "Friends, I want to make a toast and give a proper reward to a few of our special guests tonight. These brave adventurers have carried out several small tasks for me today, making this banquet possible. And having managed to stay on the nice list throughout the year, thank you for your hard work. I wanted to give you this from the bottom of my heart." Santa's bellowing tone trails off into something a bit humbler and more appreciative. 2 workshop elves approach your party with a small wooden box, painted brightly in red and white. "Friends, this is an emergency feast for heroes, in case you find yourselves in a bind. Thank you again, and Merry Christmas!" The party is gifted with an emergency heroes feast for completing this quest. The feast from this banquet also counts as a hero's feast, as if produced by the spell. A Jolly Gift, the Phoenix of Freedom. If the Phoenix of Freedom is present, the 12 shaman that accompany it will rise, thanking the party for their help stopping the vile demon and gifting them with the headdress of freedom. Santa speaks up afterwards, saying, "Hear, hear! A fine tale of freedom prevailing and evil being vanquished." A Jolly Gift, the Pump King. If the Pumpkin is present and the party completed the optional ending of Echo Raptor by returning the eggs to the Echo Raptors, it will rise, speaking in strange, dark gurgles that tingle the spine and raise hairs on edge. After it finishes speaking in its deep, guttural voice, a pumpkinling jumps onto the table, and the Pumpkin cleaves it in two with its wicked sword, leaving behind an enchanted jack-o'-lantern. Santa speaks up afterwards, saying, "Well said! That was a touching tale! We're glad the raptors have made a safe return with their eggs." A jolly gift, the turkeskew. If the turkeskew is present, and the party united the Gobble-in and Cluckbold tribes in peace at the end of Black Turkey Day Part 3, the Cluckbold shaman will rise and thank the party for their cleansing of the eagles, and for uniting their tribes. Because of their newfound unity, the golden grain harvest has been twice what it was in years prior. The Gobble-in shaman will produce a small satchel of golden grain for a gift for the party. Santa speaks up afterwards, saying, "Great news! That peace and unity have prevailed, and this year's harvest was magnificent!" The final jolly gift, Santa. If the party has completed this quest and satisfied the conditions to receive all 3 extra gifts from the Phoenix of Freedom, Pumpkin, and the turkeskew, Santa will rise one last time and thank the party. "Thank you, friends, not only for helping me on this day, but for helping all of us, all year. As thanks from all of us, we wanted to gift you with this." Santa produces a small, glimmering star within a cedar box from his pocket, a wishing star. "May your wish come true." The party will be gifted with a wishing star. A jolly good night. After the party has been fed, thanked, and gifted, the banquet will come to a close, and the party will be returned home and tucked in for the night. The end. A Jolly Banquet features one map with 3 different locations. It also features 3 unique monster stat blocks, and numerous items and art for each of the items. A special thanks to all of our November patrons and supporters. Nearly all is in order in the North Pole. St. Nick has had a wild and busy year, and he's ready to settle down and party. There's just one problem, or rather 3. He needs a few things taken care of while he finishes preparations. Travel to the North Pole and take care of a few odds and ends for old St. Nick. Make it back to the workshop in time for a celebration and some presents. Partake in the greatest celebration of the year and be gifted with gifts a-many. In any level adventure for a party of 3 to 6 adventurers. An adventure for use with your favorite fantasy role-playing game. That's all we have for December 2025's adventure, A Jolly Banquet. We hope that you liked this adventure. If you did, you can find this and more of our content over on our website at dimenoveladventures.com and in our shop. Also remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this video, and let us know that you liked our video, and make sure to join our growing Discord community. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great week.